Welcome. With this lecture, we'll be moving to the next topic, which is mass storage systems. So we'll be discussing mass storage systems under these headings. We'll be discussing the overview of mass storage structure, the disk structure, the disk attachment, and disk scheduling. So basically here we'll be discussing about hard disk drive. Okay? And the objective of this chapter is to describe the physical structure of secondary storage devices, that is mainly hard disk, and its effect on the use of the devices. And also we'll be discussing several disk scheduling algorithms. So let us start with the overview of mass storage structures. So, so if you take a typical hard disk is a magnetic disk. So generally magnetic disks are used to provide bulk storage, and it is used as the secondary storage units. And these magnetic drives, they contains what you call as cylinders. Okay, cylinders, or it contains several platters. These platters rotate at a speed of 60 to 250 times per second. And here the transfer rate is defined as the time or the rate at which the data flow happens between the hard disk drive and the CPU. The rate at which the data flow happens between the hard disk drive and the CPU is called as transfer rate. And there is something called as positioning time. It is otherwise called as random access time. The positioning time or the random accessing time consists of two things. It includes seek time and rotational latency. The positional time or random access time includes two things. These are seek time and rotational latency. Seek time is defined as the time required to move the disk arm to a particular cylinder. Seek time is the time required to move the disk arm to a particular cylinder. And rotational latency is the time required to move the desired sector under the head. Okay. So seek time is the time required to move the disk arm to a particular cylinder, and the rotational latency is the time required for the desired sector to rotate under the head or the head. Okay. Sometimes the head may get crash. The head actually should not contact the disk. The head will be flying slightly above the disk, and the disk also will be coated with some protecting material in order to get in order to ensure that it is not get damaged by the head. But still sometimes the head may contact the disk. Okay, if the head contacts the disk, then the head will crash, and that is not expected to happen. In that case, the hard disk will become unusable and it should be replaced. Okay. Fine. So the disk can be removable, and the drives and the disk and the hard disk drive is attached to the computer via different I/O buses. The commonly used I/O buses are IDE. IDE is one of the technology which was used to connect hard disk to computer, and that technology is called as integrated drive electronics. And next we had EIDE, enhanced integrated drive electronics, and then ATA, that is advanced technology attachment, and then there is a technology called SATA, which is serial uh, ATA, advanced technology attachment, and then USB, universal synchronous bus, fiber channel, SCSI, small scale system integration, SOS, Firewire. So these are some of the different technologies which are used to connect an hard disk drive with a computer. Okay. So IDE basically it supports only, with IDE you can connect two devices, two hard disks. Okay. Any two secondary storage device, maybe one hard disk, one CD drive, or both are hard disk, something like that. Okay, any combination of two secondary storage devices uh, can be connected by using what you call as using using IDE. Okay. So after that we have the advancement of IDEs, EIDE, ATA, and SATA. Okay. So these are just various technologies which are used to connect the hard disk drive with a particular computer. Okay. And the the and every disk will have something called as disk controller. Every disk drive will have something called as disk controller, and the disk controller um, will communicate with the CPU. So the CPU can be called as host controller. So the host controller is nothing but the CPU. The host controller in the computer uses the bus in the sense the communication channels to talk with the disk controller. Okay. And through that, and that is how the communication happens between the CPU and the disk drive. And that is how the data also get transferred from the CPU to the from the CPU in the sense from the memory to the computer to the disk drive, or from the disk drive to the memory. Fine. So actually this diagram clearly explains the structure of a hard disk. So this is how a hard disk looks like. Here you can see there are several components, like this is the ARM assembly. This entire thing is the ARM assembly, and then you can see these are the arms. All these are the arms. Okay. At the end of the arm, what you have is called as the read write head. Okay. So there will be a read write head at the, actually read write head is in the bottom. Okay. Similarly for this also there will be a read write head. Okay. And these are called as these individual. So a hard disk contains several disks. It's not one disk. Actually, it contains several disks. So these individual disks are called as platters. Okay. These individual disks, each disk is called as a platter. Okay. So these individual disks are called as platter, right? And each platter and this in between there is a structure which holds all the platter, and that structure is called a spindle. Okay. And spindle rotates. When spindle rotates, all these disks, all these platters also will rotate. And all these platters were logically divided into certain cylindrical structures. These cylindrical structures are called as tracks. Every platter is logically divided into number of cylindrical structures, and these cylindrical structures are called as track. Okay. And each track is further divided into small segments, and these small segments are called as sectors. Okay. Right. Each track is divided into small segments, and these small segments are called as sectors. Okay. So this diagram actually clearly explains the structure of the hard disk. What you have is an ARM assembly, and ARM assembly is connected with multiple arms. At the end of the arm, you have the head, and then there is a spindle which holds all the platters, and these platters were logically divided into cylindrical structures called tracks, and each track is uh, further divided into certain segments, and these segments are called as sectors. Okay. And not only that, another interesting thing is the all the tracks which are uh, the respective tracks of all the platters put together is called as a cylinder. Okay. The respective track of uh, all the all the platters put together is called as the cylinder. The respective tracks of all the platter put together is called as cylinder. Okay. So this is one cylinder. Similarly, so this entire thing is one cylinder. Okay. This is one cylinder. And how hard disk writes data in the sense, it may start, if it starts with this sector, first it will finish this particular track completely. Okay. Then it won't go to the next track, rather it will go to the uh, next platter, and in that platter it will finish that particular cylinder, that particular track. Like that it will go to the next platter. So first it will complete one cylinder, then it will go to the next cylinder. Okay. So this is how the data is written. Say for example there is another cylinder, this. There is another cylinder like this. Okay, sorry, there is another track like this. So all the, so the this particular track of all the plators put together will be called as a cylinder. Okay, so maybe this is, if this is cylinder 0, then this will be cylinder 1. Okay, if the first, if the first cylinder, the innermost cylinder is cylinder 0, then this will be cylinder 1. Okay, so this is how the hard disk is structured, right? Fine. Okay. Okay, fine. Let us continue. So so normally the size of the platters range from 0.85 inches to 14 inches. Okay, I mean the thickness of the platter range from 0.85 to 14 inches. And commonly these are the sizes of platters will be 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch or 1.8 inch. Okay, and the size of a typical hard disk will be from 30 GB to 3 terabytes. And this is the typical performance. In theoretical, the transfer rate is given as 6 gigabyte per second. That is the time required to transfer data from CPU to the drive, or from drive to the CPU. Okay, but the effective transfer rate in the real time is given as 1 gigabytes per second, right? And seek time is normally from 3 milliseconds to 12 milliseconds. Uh, uh, but generally for a desktop drives, it takes about 9 milliseconds. Okay, and the, so seek time in the sense the time required for the disk arm to come under a particular cylinder. So that is the seek time. Okay, and latency is based on the spindle speed. Okay, so latency is the time required for the particular sector to come under the head. Okay, so latency is based on the spindle speed, and latency is given like this typically. If the spindle is 4200 rpm, that is if the platter is rotating at a rate of 4200 rotations per second, then the average latency is 7.14 milliseconds. For 5400 spindle, the average latency is 5.56 millisecond. For 7200, it is 4.17 millisecond. For 10,000, it is 3 milliseconds. And for 15,000, it is 2 milliseconds. Okay, fine. So next we will discuss the various disk attachment schemes available. I mean how the disks are connected to the computer, and what are the various, uh, what are the various technologies were available for connecting the disk uh, with a CPU or a computer. Okay. So the first kind of attachment what we will be discussing is called as host attached storage. Okay, the first kind of disk attachment scheme, what we'll be discussing is called as host attached storage. So host attached storage in the sense, or this host attached storage is also called as direct attached storage. Okay, this is otherwise called as direct attached storage. Okay, so instead of host attached storage, it can also be called as direct attached storage. So in a typical computer which we are using in our day-to-day life, a typical desktop computer or a laptop, basically it uses a host attached storage or a direct storage. That is, the hard disk drive is directly attached to your computer. And the typical technology used were either IDE or SATA. Okay, as previously discussed, IDE stands for Integrated Drive Electronics, and SATA stands for Serial Advanced Technology Attachment. Okay, and sometimes some sophisticated systems may use SCSI kind of technology. It stands for Small Scale System Integration. It supports up to 16 devices. So on one cable, that is using a, if you are using SCSI technology in your system, you can connect up to 16 hard disks. In a system, you can connect up to 16 hard disks. Okay, and the more advanced technology is called as FC, which is fiber channel. It is a high speed serial architecture, which supports 24-bit address space. Okay, uh, the size of the address bus is 24-bit. Okay, so you can access so many locations. That is, you can access 2 to the power 24 locations with this size of address. Okay, yeah. So so this is how the direct attached storage works. So it means the drive is directly attached. The hard disk drive is directly attached to the computer in which you are working. Okay, and it uses IO directed bus, and there will be a bus ID, there will be a device ID, and there will be a logical unit number for every devices. Okay, so 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 this is how basically the host attached storage works. Sometimes in the host attached storage, you can also have arrays of disks. You can also have arrays of disks. That is, you can have more than one disks attached, and they can be an array of disks. Okay. So the storage array has controllers which provides features to attach host. So ports to connect host to array. Okay. There may be some special ports using which these arrays of disks can be connected. Okay. So example of these arrays of disks, one of the example is RAID. So RAID stands for redundant array of inexpensive disks. It is one form of an technology by which an array of disks can be connected with the computer. Okay, so basically the storage is shared, and it provides more efficiency. Okay, fine. So the next kind of technology what we have is called a storage area network. So the first one what we discussed is host attached storage, in which the disk drive is directly connected with your computer. Okay. And the next is a storage area network. So in storage area network, what happens in the sense, the see, like how we are telling LAN is a local area network. Similarly, SAN stands for storage area network. So it is a network of storage devices. It's a network of storage devices. So there may be many storage devices. See, this is an array of storage device. This is another array of storage device. This is an tape library. There is a multiple tape devices are there, and all these are interconnected. Like this, there may be so many other storage devices may be there, and all these devices were interconnected to form something called as SAN, storage area network. Okay, and this storage area network can be accessed by clients and the server. Okay, and 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 the storages will be automatically allocated. The storages the storage will be automatically allocated for these clients and servers from the storage area network depending on the need. Okay, so whatever the storage required by the server and the client will be automatically provided to them depending on their requirement. That is, these servers and the client may not have their own storage. Okay, they need not have their own storage. They may not have a separate hard disk, because they will be using this SAN, storage area network. And from this storage area network, the required storage will be provided to the respective server and the clients. Okay, and these storage area networks were interconnected through fiber channel switches, so that they will be working at a faster speed. Okay, and the storages are made available through a concept called LUN, which stands for logical unit number masking. That is, a particular disk may be assigned, a particular storage unit may be assigned to a particular client or a server. Okay, and that client or server cannot see other storage units, so that is called as masking. So depending on their requirement, the storage units will be assigned. Okay, and if they require more, you can assign more storage, and if they don't require, you can remove some of the storage. Okay, and all these will be done through high speed fiber channel, and so that there will be a reduced latency. So this type of storage is called a storage area network. The next technology what we have is called as network attached storage. In network attached storage, what happens in the sense, See, it is slightly different than storage area network. Here also we have a storage device. This is, say, this is a storage device. This is another storage device. These storage devices were attached to the network. Okay, and these are the clients. These client may not have storage, but they will use the storage which is available in the network. Okay, so this is called as network attached storage. So they will be using these, any one of this storage. Okay, see, the difference between network attached storage and storage area network in this storage area network is that in storage area network, the all the available storages will not be visible for the client and the server. The client and the server will be automatically assigned with the amount of storage they need depending on the requirement. Depending on the requirement, sometimes more storage may be provided and sometimes allocated storage may be removed, so like that. But that is not the case in network attached storage. All these available storage will be visible for all the clients, and and whatever they want, they have to access according to their requirement. So here the responsibility is on the client. So if this client wants to storage on this device, it has to store, and again if it wants to read, it has to read. Okay, but that is not the case in storage area network. In storage area network, the things will be automatically taken care. When a client wants more storage, it has to place a request and it will get it. And if it requirements reduces, then the allocated storage may be removed. Okay, so that is the difference between storage area network and network attached storage. Network attached storage is called as NAS, and storage area network is called as SAN. Okay, so storage area networks is also one of the technology which was which is one of the storage technology which is commonly used. Okay, and it uses NFS, that is network file system. The systems like operating systems like Linux uses NFS, and Windows uses CIFS, Common Internet File System, or the common protocols which is used for network attached storage. Okay, and and the client will request more storage, or it will access the particular storage devices using RPCs, remote procedure call. Okay, so basically remote procedure call between the host and the storage were used over TCP or UDP on the IP network, and using TCP or UDP through the remote procedure calls, these clients can access these storage devices. That is the overall concept. Okay, so let us stop here. So that's it about this particular lecture. So we have discussed the introduction to mass storage devices, that is hard disk drive, and then we have discussed the structure of the hard disk, and then we have discussed the various storage technologies available. So we have discussed basically three storage technologies. One is the host attached storage, which is also called as direct attached storage. And then we have discussed SAN, storage area network. And then we have discussed NAS, network attached storage. Fine. Let us stop here. Thank you.